Hey leaders, thanks for taking on the responsibility of leading a group. You're watching this video because you've taken the next step to lead a group, and we couldn't be more excited for you. Your leadership, it's creating an opportunity for those around you not only to encounter God, but to form authentic relationships with others along the journey of faith. We believe that groups turn a crowd into a community, and that's what we're after. Groups are small gatherings of 8 to 12 people who meet online or in person around different coffee shops, restaurants, or parks just to hang, discuss a recent Sunday message, and pray together, but most importantly, to live life together. They're where we pray for each other and encourage each other along this journey of faith, because that journey isn't meant to be walked alone. While salvation happens in a moment, spiritual maturity happens in the context of relationships. We need each other, and we believe it's through the authentic connections made in groups that will help us to grow and become spiritually mature. In the scriptures, they worshiped in the temple, but ministry happened house to house. And the same is true for our community. We gather together corporately to worship, but real and lasting life change only happens through community. So, thank you for your commitment to investing into others and building the community of God that we call the church. We're excited for your journey of leadership, and we look forward to all the testimonies on the other side of your obedience. We love you. So as a prerequisite to leadership, we sign up for the spiritual responsibility to live an exemplary life and model a sense of personal faith and discipleship that should guide and encourage those that we lead. So we would ask you to uphold 4 commitments as you lead. Number 1, that you will protect the unity of our church. This happens by acting first in love towards one another and believing the best about them, refusing to join the gossip train, and joyfully submitting to the leaders in your life. Number 2, that you will share the responsibility of our church. This happens by participating in the ministries of Free Chapel, praying for its growth, and inviting the unchurched to attend, and intentionally welcoming those who may visit. Number 3 is to serve the ministry of our church. Now, this happens by faithfully stewarding your gifts and talents and by activating them to serve within the church, by developing a servant's heart and advancing the vision for our house. And lastly, that you will support the testimony of our church. This happens by attending church and attending group faithfully, by living a godly life both on stage and off, and by giving regularly. All right, let's talk about expectations as a leader. Number 1, attendance. Really simply, you can't lead where you're not present. So as a leader, you should be engaged in our church community. We ask that you make it a priority to be at the following events. Number 1, Sunday services. Number 2, leaders meetings, which are an important time of community building and training to equip leaders for our monthly gatherings and seasonal events. Also, Find Your Fit. This is an opportunity to get people plugged into groups and build excitement about the Connect season. It only happens once a season on a Sunday after service. And Leaders Summit, which is our seasonal gathering of all leaders designed to celebrate what God has done in our community. It's a night filled with purpose and honor and vision, and of course, God's Word. Number 2, part of expectations is communication. We expect that all of our leaders should be responsive and proactive in their communication, including email, text messages, planning center notifications, and other systems that we might utilize. All leaders will be paired with team leaders. And the role of a team leader is to develop a partner with group leaders to make sure that they are supported throughout the season. We encourage leaders to treat team leaders as a coach and to lean on them whenever is needed. Now, that being said, we can only move as fast as we communicate. So please do your best to be responsive throughout the season and in the off season. Another expectation, number 3, is our database and systems. As a leader, we expect you to have a pulse on those in your group and those present in the lives of your group members. So we'll need you to get a group's database to manage your group's roster to keep tabs on attendance, birthdays, anniversaries, and other special events. Now, nothing to stress about now. You'll be trained on sending invites and group reports, how to reach out to new people, but it's important to know that effective group management is an expectation for every leader. So we've learned that all of our most successful group leaders have had 6 things they do in common. We've learned that over time, if you can do just 6 things well, then you will be a great group leader and have a really successful group. We refer to this as 6 things every leader must do as a way to focus on what it means to be a great leader. So number 1, pray for your group. Prayer isn't just where we turn when things go awry or when we get desperate. Prayer should be our first priority. And as a leader, it's one of the most powerful things you can do for the people in your group is to simply pray for them consistently. Pray for the health of your group, pray for your group members and leaders in your group. And we believe that prayer keeps our hearts and our ministries both healthy and growing. Number 2, create memorable moments. Groups shouldn't be full of staleness or formula or routine. Of course, stick to the core, but look for opportunities for fun and spontaneity. Create memories during group and be intentional about getting to know people and spending time with them outside of group as well. Number 3, contact your group weekly. Maintaining weekly contact as a group leader is essential when we are continuously pastoring and discipling people. By making calls, sending texts, setting aside time to connect with people outside of group, that's where real discipleship and spiritual growth can take place. Number 4, encourage spiritual growth. Part of our role as group leaders is just to constantly encourage people towards this journey of spiritual maturity. Healthy things grow, and the way that we remain healthy is by ensuring that we are spiritually fed and we are practicing our faith. As leaders, we must model the way of Jesus and bring others along with us on the journey of spiritual growth. Number 5, celebrate special occasions. Of course, everybody likes to be celebrated, so take some time out of group to celebrate special moments like birthdays, anniversaries, engagements, new jobs, new babies, first-time attenders. If you look for it, there's always a reason to celebrate. And as we celebrate each other, we actually show that we value the community that God has brought into our lives. And finally, number 6, connect them to church life. It's our hope that joining a group is just the first of many next steps for people. We want to see every individual connected into the life of our church, whether it be through baptism, joining a serve team, or taking part in the events or outreach of this house, and actually everything in between. As a leader, continue to model, guide, and lead to connect people into the life of our church. Okay, so how do you actually lead a group? Maybe you're filled with passion and excitement about hosting your first group, but are still unsure about what to do specifically. You'll see here to the side of me a sample of the flow for your first night of group that you meet. We recommend that you arrive early to make sure that you prep and greet people as they come. We also suggest that you plan to spend somewhere around 45 minutes just hanging and talking life and updates since the last time that you've seen them. It may seem counterintuitive, but don't jump into the discussion right away. Let it simmer, spend some time just living life together. Once you're ready to rally everyone, a fun way to get the conversation started is just to plan an icebreaker for everybody to participate in. Then, once you're ready, you can jump into the group guide for about 45 minutes or so of discussion. For each night of discussion, you can walk through that group guide, which is recapping Sunday's message, or on occasion, we'll do a book study together. And one great way to think through this time is to bookend the discussion with praise reports on the front end and prayer requests on the back end. This will start the night in celebration of God and end the night trusting Him with our every need. But please know, this isn't hard-lined or rigid. It's just a flow, a helpful way maybe for you to think through your time and how to structure the night well. Do this, and you'll be in good shape. All right, for this last training, we're gonna talk about navigating difficult conversations. As you lead, this video may be one you wanna bookmark and keep coming back to, because we're gonna give some coaching tips on how to navigate difficult conversations. There will be moments in your group where sensitive or complex topics come up. Whether it be a cultural moment, a moral issue, or just a tough theological question, here's some helpful tips to navigate those. Of course, this list is not exhaustive, but we encourage you to keep up communication with pastors and team leaders whenever situations like this may arise. But in the meantime, here's how you can operate under pressure with strength and with grace. First, keep the discussion positive and life-giving. Whenever tough topics come up, carefully lead the discussion back on track and follow up one-on-one after the group is over. Listen to hear, not to respond. Then, when they have been heard, respond with respect, speak the truth in love, and make your group expectations clear moving forward. Don't be afraid to recenter your group before it gets out of control. But let's try and keep the tough conversations to one-on-one moments. Group, after all, is for discussion, to be collaborative and encouraging for everybody involved. Number 2, know that it's okay to not know everything. I want you to know you don't have to have an answer or advice to everything that might come up. It's more than okay to say something like, "I'm not too sure about that question, can I get back to you?" Or, "I'm not sure I'm equipped to help, but would you be okay if we connected with somebody who I think could?" I hate to say this in the world that we live, it's an unfortunate reality, but whenever there is concern about something like mental health, abuse, or suicide, it's important to loop in leadership as soon as possible. Number 3, be a peacemaker. Group isn't a forum for debate or argument. It's a chance for people to grow spiritually through life-giving community. So don't allow the pot to be stirred, criticism to go unchecked, or the gossip train to leave the station. Instead, be a great listener, a truth in love speaker, believe the best about everybody. Peace and unity are always worth fighting for. Number 4, on the other side of a big problem is a great solution. It can be easy to become reactionary or emotional in the midst of difficulty and pressure, but try to train in you a leadership instinct that can kick in. Don't be intimidated or frustrated or overwhelmed by the unexpected. Instead, try and work together on building common ground and mutual understanding until you reach a solution. The problem or interruption isn't the end of the story. There is a great solution on the other side. And number 5, maybe we'll just say ABC, or always be communicating. First, with God in prayer. Pray before responding, during and after your conversation. Cover difficulty with prayer. Second, communicate with leadership. Send updates to your team leader with any concerns that you might have about your group. And lastly, follow up with that person. Send a text or call the individual, letting them know that you're with them, that you're praying for them, and that you're putting resources together whenever it's appropriate. We hope that this would help you to navigate some tough conversations and get started on hosting a great group. Don't be thrown off when it gets unexpected. Don't be shaken when things may go awry. Just lean into your leadership. Know that God is with you and you have been appointed for this job. We're so excited for you and can't wait to see all the testimonies on the other side. We love you.